What's going on? It's Travis Thompson, and my new album, Reckless Endangerment, is out now everywhere. I'm here kicking it with Diandra Reviews It All.
Woohoo! I love that intro.
One take, baby. Let's go.
In honor of your debut, Reckless Endangerment, describe a time when you were reckless.
Oh man, I mean, last night we were pretty reckless with the drinking, but I feel like that's the reason I called it that is because we're just reckless all the time. Like I'm thinking of all these other things. I guess I will say, there's a moment on the album at the end of Knew Better where it's like literally a clip from my childhood. Like when I was like 10 to 12 years old, me and my friends blew up a garbage can at the skate park. And the fire department came and it was a whole thing. Like we put a bunch of like M80s in the garbage can and like it was a whole thing. And yeah, it was. So I guess that was one time that I was super reckless, and it's on the album, so it's like super full circle and cool. Yeah.
I never did reckless things like that. Like my recklessness was one time I like secretly bought a Barbie for $3.
For real?
Yeah, when my mom wasn't looking.
You secretly bought it?
Yeah, because she was like, I don't want you to have any more toys. And I was like, I'm gonna buy that Barbie.
I love that was you didn't steal it,
Yeah.
You bought it.
Yeah.
You bought it.
That was me
You
being
bought it
reckless.
in spite of your mom. That's fine.
Yeah, I was like, I'm saving, and then I'm gonna go to the corner store and get it.
That's fun. You know, my mom was she had to deal with, well, how'd you get this shirt? How did you get this skateboard? How did you get this? You know what I mean? Because I was just taking shit, but yeah. It's
Oh
funny.
wow, I was saving to be rebellious.
No, I feel you. No.
Maybe that will be my album, Saving to be Rebellious.
Saving to be rebellious. No, I like it.
Pinching pennies. How do you feel, in an odd way, working at a preschool is similar to working in music?
Wow, I mean, rappers are children, if that makes sense. Working at a preschool, really what working at a preschool taught me was that for the majority of people, like everyone at their core is still like a 4 or 5 year old. Like they react emotionally like a child does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone. After working at the preschool, like just meeting adults in everyday life, I'm like, oh man, these people are acting like 4-year-olds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And working at a preschool kind of just taught me to like have patience and deal with a bunch of little small-minded people. You feel me? It is what it is. Like I like being a musician, and I'm definitely not one of those people who like has this like overwhelming sense of like, oh, I hate the music industry, because that's not my energy at all. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, being in a preschool is similar to working in music because you got to deal with a lot of rambunctious children. You feel me? Yeah. Like, for real.
Yeah, I taught kindergarten for like a year, and it's
for real.
They're so smart kids, but they teach you how to move the room because they're so in their emotions still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
Which
everybody is, but they don't have the poker face. Like if
their
pencil isn't sharpened, they're gonna break it.
Yeah, for real.
So, with that in mind, was there ever a moment, like anything that a kid did that you were like, I'm gonna write a rap for that. I'm gonna write a verse for that.
No, I can't say there's a specific moment where like a kid inspired me to write a song, but I definitely do remember like I'd make some songs. Because I was working on music the whole time I worked there. So I would make music, and then like the next day when they'd be like playtime in the gym, and like my boss would go, like I'd play my songs while the kids like ran around and played, and they didn't even know it was me, so it was really cool.
Yeah, and they were like, what?
Yeah,
Where can I get the mixtape?
Yeah, no, I don't even think they could have grasped that the guy that worked in their classroom, was a rapper. Because even back when I worked there, like I was playing shows, I was opening up, like my other coworkers and teachers like found out that I'd made music like halfway through my time there, and there was like it was a whole thing for a while. But the kids were tight.
Do they miss you? Do they like
the what's it called? I would love to like reconnect with some of those kids and like see where they're at, because I worked at a preschool, so like, and it was like mixed special ed, and so it was like we were a super pivotal point of like, are we gonna send them to kindergarten? Are we gonna send them here? So I would like to know where and I was like part of the process of like deciding where kids would end up.
Oh wow.
You know what I mean? Because like as a paraeducator, that's what I was. We would just take notes on kids all day. You know what I mean? Like we hang out with these kids, and then we like at the end of the day we would take notes on like how their day went, who they were, and like all like just evaluations and stuff. So like I would love to figure out where those kids are at, where a lot of them ended up, but at the same time, like, they don't remember me. You know what I mean? Like, they're moving about their lives, kicking it, having fun, you know what I mean? The teachers still come to shows. Like my old coworkers, like the teachers I work with, come to shows all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guest list.
Yeah, no, man, no, I'm making them buy tickets. I'm making them buy tickets for sure.
Well, I mean, it kind of explains how compassionate I feel. There is a level of compassion in your music.
Oh, thank you.
And it kind of made me want to ask, like, what core values of your family and your upbringing and even your Native American heritage do you feel you plug in to your songs?
Man, I guess the core value of like my music and who I am as a person is like being vulnerable and honest and not trying to be anything I'm not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's really what my pops instilled in me. Like my whole life was very much like, don't try to be anything you're not. Don't put on a show for anyone. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like my parents are super empathetic, cool people, and like super compassionate people. So it's like if you can hear that in the music, I think that's where it comes from. And I don't know. That's a really interesting question. I can't say exactly like what core values like found their way into my music, but like authenticity is really what we're all about. You know what I mean? Like before, like everything was moving, like the way it is now, it was still just like. It still is, but like we're just some kids from Seattle who are just like figuring it out, who don't really know what they're doing. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, authenticity is really the core value. I feel like we stand on and we like try to represent with every drop.
So, what do you think Reckless Endangerment says about you as a person then?
Ooh.
Like, are there any qualities it shows or specific thoughts?
I think Reckless Endangerment shows like the duality of who I am as a person. You know what I mean? I think for the last album, You Good, that was super like heady. It was super about like my brain and about like how I was feeling at those moments. But Reckless Endangerment kind of feels like like I was saying, like you see both sides. Like there's like somber moments on the album or like slower moments on the album where it's like we're reflecting and there's like more of a narrative. But there's also just like moments where it's hella fun and turns up and just like the production's banging. You know what I mean? It's with this album, I wanted to show the duality of who I was as a person. You know what I mean? Like I felt like the last one was pretty sad, and I wanted this one to be happy. You know what I mean? Because like I was feeling the same. My headspace was still in like bad places at some points, but at the same time, I was like, I don't want to attack this the same way I did last time. Like I'm feeling shitty, but I'm gonna make a happy song today. You know what I mean? Like so, I feel like the album represents both sides of me, both sides of my head. You know what I mean? Both sides of like being a pessimist, being like this depressed person, but also being like I'm having fun. Like I don't know how I got here, but like I'm enjoying the ride. You feel me?
Yeah. So, like, if you put both records together, would it be kind of like a yin and yang approach to sadness?
That's really what it is. I've never heard it put like that. That's beautiful. But yeah, because I was feeling, there was moments of like making Reckless Endangerment where I felt so much more stressed out and worse than I did making You Good. But You Good is like me wallowing in my sadness and like trying to like make sense of it. And Reckless Endangerment is more of a, like, not to swear, but like fuck it, like we're living. I just wanted to represent all the kinds of headspace I had but like in a positive way. You know what I mean? Like having fun, being happy, like energetic. You know what I mean? Because I feel like my music is fun and you can turn up to it in the past, but like I wanted to make something you could really like play at the party, but also like play in your room when you're going through it. You know what I mean? I wanted to just like the duality the whole time, like the whole way through, just like everything in my head.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I always read a lot of interviews that the person that I'm about to interview does. And it seems like in Reckless Endangerment, when you were creating it, you were going through more ups and downs, or at least you felt like you were going through more ups and downs.
Yeah.
So I love that you chose, like, I'm still gonna say I'm sad, but I'm gonna be like really happy about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just attacking the same problems differently. You know what I mean? Like, I knew when I was making this album, I wanted to make a more upbeat album because, like, I feel like a lot of people would come up to me like I was sad all the time. You know what I mean? Like, or people had this idea in my head, like, which is not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, I feel them, but at the same time, like, I wanted to show people that, like, you can feel this way, know you're feeling this way, try to figure out why and what's making your brain feel that way, what in your life is causing you to feel like this, but then, like, attacking it completely differently, like having fun about it, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have to say, like, as a technical music critic, I have noticed more like now listening to music, like how much people sing about anxiety and sadness.
Oh, hell yeah.
It never picked up because, you know, usually a happy song, it sounds happy.
Yeah,
but
and I
then
feel
you're
like nowadays, especially, it's more of a conversation that we're all having about our headspaces. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, after going through this process of making this album, how would you define your inner peace?
How would I define my inner peace?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I feel like that's my life's journey. I guess all our lives' journey. But at the same, I feel like I define my inner peace like, are you talking about like a setting, like a place, or like a...
I actually, like, I think it's such a vast question that I'm just curious
however
as to how you would take it.
So, I don't know. How would I define my inner peace? I really say my inner peace comes from not comparing myself to anybody else, not comparing my journey to anybody else's. My inner peace comes when I'm the most, like, when I just let go of every expectation I have of myself. You know what I mean? I feel like that's when I really find inner peace. That's what, I just had a little revelation on your camera. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, no, it's like, it's letting go of like the expectations you set for yourself. You know what I mean? And just living. That's hopefully how I find inner peace. Someday.
I think you're touching upon something. I think it's not just letting go of expectations you have on yourself, but expectations of what is happiness.
Yeah, that's facts. And no, that's what a lot of the album is about, finding fulfillment. You know what I mean? Because like, it's hard when like things are really starting to go up and you're constantly reaching higher. You know what I mean? When things really start working, it's like you don't even have time to take a step back and be like, oh, this is cool, because you just want the next thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm on a record label. Like, we're doing well. We're doing tours. We're doing sold out shows. But like, I want platinum hits. I want this. I want this. I want this. You know what I mean? So I feel like when I'm able to like take a step back and like enjoy my life to the fullest extent, that's when I find inner peace.
Yeah, I feel like your songs, like listening to them, it's like a person who realizes that we're all like in this strange video game.
Yeah, that's tight. Hell
like
yeah.
We're always going to this next level, and then you're like, oh wow, like it never ends.
And no, it's never ending, because like my favorite artists are going through it publicly all the time. You know what I mean? They want more. So and then that isn't a good feeling when you're sitting at the house like depressed and you're just like, damn, like this person who I think has it all figured out is feeling the same as I am right now. What does that mean for me 10 years from now? If this all works out, am I gonna still feel like this? Then what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so that you can definitely take yourself there, but like it's not conducive to anything. You feel me? That's not conducive to like a happy life. So
yeah. Well, let's just wrap up the interview. And speaking of persons and influencers, like you've surrounded yourself with people that you love as your team. Yeah. What has their talent helped? How has their talent helped you in building yours?
Wow. How's their talent helped me in building mine? Man, I think I've always been a person that like I see more in people than they see in themselves. And because I've always saw more in myself than I thought people saw in me. You know what I mean? Like I super believe in the people around me, like no matter what, and I want them to believe in themselves too. Like that's our whole mission with like making all of this, is like I'm super goofy looking and weird, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like I saw all of this for myself and we made it happen, you know what I mean? And I feel like seeing the talents come through out of my friends, like I don't know if it speaks to my talent at all, but it just drives me to go so much harder. You know what I mean? When I watch someone in my life who had no prior knowledge to anything or like how this music industry works, like become someone who can like hold their own in a conversation with people who've been doing it for years. You know what I mean? Like that's the coolest shit to me. You know what I mean? That's what, like, I don't know, it just makes me really happy.
And they went out of their way for you.
For me, that, you know what I mean? Sometimes like you can freak out about it too. Like sometimes like I'll be at a video shoot and I look around and there's like 50 people and I'm like, oh my God, like all these people are here for me. Like if I don't blow up, I'm gonna make all these people look stupid. You know what I mean? That's genuinely how I feel all the time. So like, but just, I don't know, like the people's belief in me just like is really what drives it. You know what I mean? And like seeing my friends like come into their own as like people who work in this industry is, it's crazy.
But I have to say, let me head towards like my final question, which is, you've said like part of what attracts people to you is that you have to create a narrative as an artist.
Yeah.
Well, how would you say that social media in particular helps you create that narrative? Because I think you're gonna blow up.
Thank you.
Watching your social media and then having this team that is so loyal to you, those are like, thank you, like Chef Boyer D. Amazing. So how do you feel in particular social media has helped you build that narrative and reveal yourself?
Social media has completely helped me build my narrative. You know what I mean? Like, and it's also, like I was saying before, our whole thing is being vulnerable and authentic with the people who enjoy my music. So it's like, social media has let people kind of into who I am as a person, because I'll straight up tell people like, oh, I can't do this because this right now. Oh, this didn't come out because this. Oh, this did it. And you know what I mean? And it creates, people who listen to my music know the kind of person I am. And I feel like it sounds douchey to say, but like we like trained the people who like my music to like understand who I am as a person. And like, it just, I don't know, it's hard to say. Like, social media has helped me create this whole thing that people can feel like they're a part of. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? People, and I didn't get any like industry love until like maybe a year ago. You know what I mean? Like, the people who listen to my music are like die hard, like they're there for the ride. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like people see themselves in everything we do. You know what I mean? Like, people and all of our stuff, and whether it be the videos, the music, the even the interviews like this. You know what I mean? Like, people see that like it's 100% comes from a genuine place. And social media like kind of helped me showcase who I am as a person, because like I'm not getting these crazy, like, I'm not getting put on TV all the time. I'm not getting, you know what I'm saying? So like, people found out who I was. People figure out who I am through social media. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's helped me build a whole career, for real. Yeah.
I think you've become like a culture a little bit, like your own, like a person who's a culture, just the way that people follow you and
exactly.
Your image
and I'll people like will come to the shows and like say words that I say all the time. You know what I mean? Just like little slang words here and there. You know what I mean? Like, people from other cities will use like Seattle slang when they come kick it with me, just because like, and they would have never known that have not for like social media.
You're powerful.
I'm trying. Yeah.
Well, that was it. That was such a perfect. If you want to just do a little send off,
Go get my album.
Reckless Endangerment.
Reckless Endangerment out now.